Welcome back to another episode of Wellbeing Wednesday, the monthly segment that shows childcare providers and caregivers like you simple ways to support your own well-being, because taking care of ourselves is, in fact, taking care of others. So whether you are an early childhood educator, director, parent, or someone who just feels like a parent some days, you are sure to pick up tidbits of actionable advice and learn how to support your overall well-being and get back to feeling like yourself. I'm your host, Susanna Creed, a well-being coach with Be Well, Care Well, Arkansas, a curricula concepts program that's all about supporting the well-being of our childcare providers. So today we are focusing on food safety. And with that, it is easy to overlook our nutritional needs as adults, especially when we're busy taking care of our own kiddos or the kiddos that we serve every day at work. So today we are focusing on you. We are focusing on our adults and how you can safely take care of your nutritional health. So we are super excited today to welcome our guest, Avis Phifer, who is the health programs coordinator at UA Little Rock Children International. Children International here is a Little Rock nonprofit organization focused on helping children and families break the cycle of poverty starting at age 5. So this is a really good option if you are a parent or if you are working with kiddos who are about to graduate from your pre-K program. Children International is a really good opportunity to give them and their families continue to support as they transition into the kindergarten years. So starting at age 5, UA Little Rock Children International empowers Little Rock families specifically to raise healthy, educated, and resilient children through school and community-based programs. Avis, who is joining us today, she graduated from UA Little Rock herself with a Bachelor of Science in Health Science, and she is currently obtaining her Master of Social Work. So we are super excited to have her here. Thank you, Avis, for taking time out of your day to be with us. Now, let's get into it. What exactly is food safety and why is it important for adults? I'd love to hear from you and kick us off with that.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Susanna, for having me on today. The most important thing to know about food safety is just I would like to say basic knowledge, but it's knowledge about how to take care of your food, how to prepare your food. Not even that, just being able to have it in a way where it's safe to consume, to make sure that you're paying attention to your hygiene in the kitchen, making sure you're aware of certain temperatures and, little things like that that we sometimes forget about, or it's not always the forefront of our minds. This can even start at the grocery store, before you even make it to the grocery store, just considering little things. It's really important because you want to be able to reduce the chances of foodborne illnesses. You want to reduce the chances of cross-contamination. You just want to make sure that overall that you're preparing and putting things into your body that's safe. And there are a lot of things that we can do beforehand to prepare yourselves to make sure that that's what's actually happening.
Awesome. So I know that we had talked about maybe a couple of things that the adults can do. So we are trying as best we can to think about what we can do for ourselves. So, because a lot of times we're focused on the kiddos, and I know it's kind of a twofer where if you're taking care of yourself, you are taking care of the kids in your care, but maybe what are some of your top tips or tricks or strategies for being safe with our food?
So the first thing I'm going to always go to is hygiene. And we can start that before we even, make it to the kitchen at the grocery store. They give you the little plastic bags, just being able to separate meats. For example, if you're getting ground beef and you're getting chicken and you're getting steaks, sometimes the packaging can leak. And so the grocery stores have started providing those plastic bags in the meat sections. And so just being able to separate those certain meats to prevent cross-contamination. Also, if you have kids that ride in the basket and you have something that's leaking, you want to prevent those germs and that bacteria from getting on them as well. And so just starting at the grocery store, being conscientious of what you're setting beside each other, making sure you're not setting your meat on top of the fruit that you just got, because most times when we go into the grocery store, the produce is the first thing that the first place that we go. So just making sure that we are being aware of how we're taking care of the food that we're putting in the baskets, starting off at the grocery store. Once we make it home, making sure that, we have our fridge, our refrigerators, or our pantries already organized. So when my husband always says, he always says, cold food lasts, get it home fast. And so that's another thing. That's another thing that you want to think about. Just food safety, temperature wise. If you know that you have 3 or 4 grocery stores to go to, make sure that your milk and your eggs, your dairy, your meat products, they're going to be at the last stop. Other measures that you can take before you go to the grocery store is maybe having a thermal bag if you know you have a long commute. Having an ice chest, that may be a little more tedious for some, having to remember to grab an ice chest, remember to grab the ice packs. That may be a little too tedious for some, but certain things like that. And even when it comes down to produce, I know nowadays a lot of people are doing like the grocery pickup or the grocery deliveries, making sure with your produce that it's not bruised or dented or moldy. If you get that in your pickup, make sure you don't eat those things, or make sure that you're able to be at a place where you can either return those items. So it's certain things like that with hygiene. Once you get into the kitchen, making sure your surfaces are clean, making sure that we are washing our hands, washing our fruit, washing our vegetables. And so it's a lot of tidbits like that that you want to consider even before we get to the prepping of the food. And so hygiene would definitely be one of the first things, one of my go-tos when it comes to food safety. Just trying your best to avoid that cross-contamination and making sure that we're inspecting our food in a way that we want to make sure that we're eating things that are able to be consumed, that haven't been contaminated with anything.
So first of all, we have the comments are lit today. So I love it. I want to quickly shout out Stephanie. Hey girl. Hey, we have Carolyn Winston with us. We have Rita. We have, all right, Sarah with us, Deborah. I think I said Rita, but if not, we have Debbie, we have Christine. We got a whole lot of people here. And just so you know, Sarah, who's one of my coworkers here, she now has created a hashtag for cold food last, get it home fast. Just saying, that is now going to become a thing. And also, Christine, I love what you said, and I didn't even think about it. It's like I can just have a thermal bag in my car, and it's like I put all of my meat products in that, and then I put it in one plastic bag or reusable bag, and then I just put that in my thermal bag, and I don't even have to take it out. I can just leave it in the back of my car. So it's like I never have to think about, oh, did I grab the thermal bag? Because once you get it home, then the longest time is over, because you're going to take that out immediately. So you can just leave that thermal insulated bag in your trunk or in the back of your SUV or your truck. So I love that idea. And also, so I has a question. So when I pick up the meat, right? If I pick up some chicken and it feels a little bit wet, is that probably the meat juices?
That's probably the meat juices.
Okay. So that is why I get those plastic bags. Because I always get freaked out by it, because that's the juices. So just FYI, people, if you are getting meat and you pick it up and it's wet, that may be condensation, but it may be raw meat juice. So using those plastic bags. Now, we did have something, and I'm curious to get your thoughts, Avis. We did have an idea. I know, Christine, it's not fun. So the plastic bags, they have those, but we are in the time of COVID. And the way that most of us normally open those is we lick our fingers and then open the bag. Probably shouldn't be doing that. So how do you open those bags without licking your fingers?
So I personally don't lick my fingers to do it. Even before COVID-19, I've always been funny about touching things with my fingertips. And so those bags can be difficult. I have noticed that the ones for the meat are easier because they're thicker to get open than the ones for produce. And so sometimes just having the open end up and kind of rubbing it together with your hands can help with that friction and help it open up a little. So
how did I not think about that? Like I was doing it with my fingertips, but that didn't get me anywhere. But like
Ah,
actually
yeah.
taking it.
Yes.
Okay. So for those
It
of
works with
you who,
garbage bags too.
okay, so this is important, y'all. If you walk away with nothing else, walk away with the hashtag cold food last, get it home fast, and take the bags that you're trying to open that we would normally use our like lick our fingers and open it up. Take the open end, so the part you want open at the top, put it in between your entire hands and go like this. Don't do the fingertips like I do. I've been doing it wrong my whole life. And this is huge for COVID. So I love this. Oh, Steph says we're grocery store pros, by the way.
It's also a good idea too. You never know, like you said, the juice is at the bottom. You don't know until you actually touch it and it's on your
And
hands.
then it's,
And then you're contaminating everything anyway. So,
yep.
like I said, even before COVID, it may be like a good idea to keep like some wipes or some paper towels or something in Germex so you can sanitize. Because if you pick up that chicken meat and then if say you're shopping with your child and they want a juice, and sometimes kids don't always want to wait until you pay for it, and you have to hand them
I'm assure you, I have no idea what you're talking about.
and you have to hand them, that drink, and you've just given them all those germs that have come off of that meat. And so you want to make sure, like I said, you're taking care of yourself, but you're also
Mhm.
taking care of the little ones, your family, the ones that may be with you at the grocery store as well. So
That is a really good point. And so one of the things that I've done, and this is also just because I don't know why, but I like having my keys on me, like the janitors who walk around with like a ton of keys like hanging off their belt loop. I have like a carabiner, and I was looking around to see if I had it, but I take the carabiner, or I take like my keychain and I attach it to my belt loops or put it in my jacket pocket, and I always have some hand sanitizer with me. And I'm a germaphobe, so literally I like touch something and then I sanitize my hands. But this is really good if you don't like that, to at least use that when you're handling the meat. That could be really important if you forget the bag and you touch it and you're like, oh, it's wet. Okay, get the bag out, open it up with the hands, put it in there, and then Germex after that can be a really useful thing as well. And also, just real quick, if y'all want, who are watching in the comments, feel free to comment any questions or concerns you would like us to address about food safety in the grocery store when you're cooking. We definitely want to hear from you. So please feel free to type those in the comments, and then we will address them as we see them. But anyways, I'm done talking. Avis, continue with the tips and tricks that you have. I've already learned quite a lot today.
I guess other basic things. So that's just grocery store stuff. And like Susanna said, if you guys have any questions about that, just put them in the chat. Other things that people don't necessarily pay attention to is like dish towels, sponges, cloths when you're getting ready to clean your cooking area, just how quickly bacteria multiplies on those. And so it's really important to, even if you're using a Clorox spray or something to clean those surfaces, you still may be spreading bacteria just by using those. So it's it's best to probably consider using like paper towels or something that you can throw away, especially when you're dealing with those meat juices. And I hate to say it like that, but it's meat juices, with the meat or poultry
We just
juices.
got to keep it real, meat juice.
And so things that you want to do is like make sure you're washing those frequently. I always wash my dish towels in bleach and hot water. No matter the color, it's just a dish towel, no one's going to judge it. And so I always do bleach and hot water for those items. I personally don't use sponges, but if you do use a sponge, I do know that you can put those in the dishwasher. I've been told some of them.
Really
I've been told some of them, yes.
interesting.
And so those are little things that, you don't always think about. Me, when it comes to meat, when you're handling meat, make sure if you're switching, make sure you're washing your hands in between switching dishes. And so
Mm.
if you are dealing with raw meat and poultry and you reach over to turn the sink handle to wash your hands, you just contaminated the knob. And so also being aware of little things like that, because if you just contaminated the knob to wash your hands from the poultry, when you get ready to touch the knob again, what if it's just to run some water in a bowl? You haven't considered that your hands are contaminated again. So even keeping some cleaner or some wipes around just to wipe up behind yourself as you go. It's like a constant, it's, I hate to say like a compulsive thing, but it's certain things that you want to, think about just in preparing your meals and things like that. So that's another big thing for me, just constantly washing your hands. I keep hand soap at my sink. I know some people, they don't think that's a great hygienic thing to wash your hands at the kitchen sink, and you should go into the washroom to do that. But I personally keep hand soap and dish detergent at my sink, and that's how we operate.
Okay. I love it. Okay. Microwaving them too. Yeah. So we do have a couple questions in here. When should you discard your sponges? Like, when do you know, okay, this sponge or this like wash rag or wash towel, when do you need to let it go?
I would say honestly, if it's soiled, if it's me personally, once I finish a cycle, so about every 2 days or so is when I get my dish towels and stuff washed. I would say with sponges, because I don't personally use those, I would take a sponge as a one-time thing. And so I will probably discard it depending on what I actually cleaned up with it. But dish towels, I wouldn't let them sit for too long. I do know that I've gotten a lot of information from the cooperative extension services. They are actually partners with us. And so they have a lot of helpful tips and a lot of information about being able to stay safe in the kitchen and doing all of that stuff. And so I do know using dishwater at least just to make sure you're getting all of that stuff rinsed out. But I would say every couple of days or so, washing your towels or switching your towels out. I wouldn't let a dish towel sit for 3 days, especially if I know I've done some deep cleaning. I've washed several rounds of dishes. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe every like 2 to 3 days, that's when you do bleach and hot water of the dish towels.
And that's if you're, if you're a heavy dishwasher user and you're not washing your dishes every day and you're just wiping down, your counter surfaces, I would say you can probably go a little longer. But if you know you've been working with raw meat, I wouldn't turn around and use those the next day. Just for the fact you don't know what kind of bacteria is growing on it and things like that.
That makes sense. And also for all of you in the chat, I am posting more information about FNEP. So that's the partner as well. I believe, Avis, was that the correct partner?
Yes.
So if you want to learn more about them, they're the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program. When you go to their homepage, it immediately asks you if you want to subscribe to the newsletter. So if you're an individual who just wants to learn more about stuff like this, that is great. I will tell you that with Be Well, Care Well, our participants, we are working with FNEP actually to provide virtual and or in-person cooking classes to the early care and education programs that are working with us who are interested in more nutritional health and different things like that. So I know we started a little bit late, but I also know that everyone's time is very, very precious. So I want to check, are there any other questions in the comments that you would like to share or have us discuss? Any other questions? And actually, if you're thinking about a question, feel free to take your time, type that in. I have a fun poll. I've never done a poll like this before, but I'm curious to see. Oh, I don't know if it's okay. All right, there's a poll. I think a poll is coming up. I'm not sure how that works, but I've put a poll up there to see what Sarah says, I will never get meat juice out of my head. Oh, wait.
Sorry.
I'm trying to do this poll where you tell us what was your favorite tip. But if it's not popping up on your screen, I would love for you to type in the comments, what has been your favorite tip from today? So Avis, correct me if I'm wrong on any of these. I want to make sure I'm not missing too much. But I love the hashtag cold items last, get it home fast. I think that one's good. Opening those meat bags by rubbing your hands together. Putting your dish sponge in the dishwasher, and washing your dish towels every 2 to 3 days in bleach and hot water. Oh, okay. I guess it is working because I'm seeing results. Yay.
Yay.
So it looks like the leader so far is opening those meat bags by rubbing the hands together. Avis, that was clutch right there. Followed by putting your sponge in the dishwasher. Oh, thanks, Steph. She said the polls are working. Yay. I can't see them on my end, so I'm just like, I don't know if it's working or not, but I love this. So I think with that, we are going to start to close out today. So real quick, I'm also going to put information. If you are a childcare provider and you work with families and you want to maybe tell them more about Children International, especially if you're living in Little Rock, it will be great. It will be great to tell them about this so that after, when they graduate from your program, they can maybe sign up. It also includes their website, their phone number. Avis was kind enough to offer her email address. So if you have other questions, please feel free to reach out to her. I do want to thank you, Avis, for joining us today and sharing some of these great tips and tricks. I know I'm going to be taking those with me when I go into the grocery store next. And it is helpful for keeping our own health on track. And also because we're taking care of ourselves, it falls over into the kids that we work with. That's a beautiful thing about taking care of ourselves. It has this beautiful ripple effect out. So I also want to give a shout out to one of our super essential partners, U of A's Early Care and Education Projects. They are the ones who helped us to bring the Be Well, Care Well program and by default, Wellbeing Wednesday to the state of Arkansas. So thank you all so much for that. Also make sure to follow Curricula Concepts on Facebook and Instagram so you don't miss a thing. You want to make sure to catch all of these Wellbeing Wednesdays. It's the first Wednesday of every month at 12:30. We have wonderful guests like Avis coming on and giving you all tips, tricks, all sorts of things like that. Sometimes we have giveaways. So always stay tuned for that. And last but not least, if you are a childcare provider, if you are a director, if you are a program manager, and you are curious about Be Well, Care Well, which is a program to support your staff wellness. So it's really focused on the adults and taking care of ourselves, which is really, really crucial, especially right now during the second year of COVID protocols and everything with our little ones. I will post in the comments where you can learn more. You can go to curriculaconcepts.com/bewellcarewell. So that should be there right now. And I believe that is it for us. Thank you all for being here. Please feel free to like, share, and comment on this video. This has been another Wellbeing Wednesday. I'm your host, Susanna Cree, and I am wishing you well.